There are millions here who have roots in India. There is one behind me who...
How do I describe myself? I describe myself as a proud American. My parents met when they were graduate students at UC Berkeley back in the civil rights movement. And, you know, I joke, me and my sister joke, we grew up surrounded by a bunch of adults who spent full time marching and shouting. Our mother was the kind of parent who, if you ever came home complaining about something, the first thing she'd do is look at you and say, "So what are you going to do about it?" So I decided to run for president of the United States. When my sister Maya and I were growing up, our mother would take us from the Bay Area to India pretty much every other year. I recall my grandfather teaching me lessons about not just what it means to have a democracy, but to keep a democracy. There was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me. Career, the conventional wisdom was that people were either soft on crime or tough on crime, but I knew we should be smart on crime. There is work that we have done there. There's work that we have done around racial profiling and in particular implicit bias and racial bias in the criminal justice system and in particular in law enforcement that needs to be addressed. That's not my question. Question, I will repeat. Excuse me, I'm asking the questions. Can you please answer the question? Can you think of any laws that give the government the power to make decisions about the male body?
I'm not thinking of any right now, Senator.
fire, a maiming, or torture in order for us to recognize a lynching when we see it and recognize it by federal law and call it what it is, which is that it is a crime that should be punishable with accountability and consequence.
President Biden and I have been clear. Israel has a right to defend itself, and we will remain steadfast in that conviction. This year has been difficult, given the scale of death and destruction in Gaza, and given the civilian casualties and displacement in Lebanon. It is devastating. And as president, I will do everything in my power to end the war in Gaza.